Hello, Robbie Susan Chandler here from RobbieSusanCardsandCrafts.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. Today I want to share this beautiful card with you called a Gatefold Pop-Out card. Now I got this idea from another demonstrator called Carol Buckaloo. I hope I'm saying her name right. And I just love the way that she actually made it into a Christmas card, but I decided to make it into a birthday card. And let me show you how this card opens up. Excuse me. And see, when you open it up, the center pops out. Now, I kind of thought this looked a lot like the seagull fold. See how it has that look? In fact, here's a card that I made with the seagull fold, and you see how it has this similar look. And if you want to see how I made this card, check back next Friday. It's my Fa La La Holiday Friday Christmas card idea. But I'm kind of calling this one a faux seagull look. But anyway, let's take a look at how you make this lovely card. Alright, your card base is basic black, and it's 11 by 4 1/4. Now you're going to score it at 2 3/4. And then you score it at 5 and 6. This is your little 1-inch section. That's your middle section right here. Right there. So you score it at 2 3/4, 5 inches, 6 inches, and then 8 1/4. That gives you a 2 3/4 section from each end of the card. So you fold it in, and then you take these two sections and just fold them back and back like that. That gives you your shape. Okay, now on this section right here, and let me show you the pack of paper that I used for all of my designer paper. This is called the Fresh as a Daisy designer paper, and it has a lot of beautiful colors and designs in it, as you can see. And I'm using this one and this one and this one. And I had used this one on a previous card. So that's the paper we're using today, along with the basic black and some Daffodil Delight. So these outside pieces are this piece from it. The other side looks like this, but they're 4 by 2.5 inches, and you need 2 of them. But first, I embossed them with the exposed brick embossing folder. And now they look like this, which I think is a lot more interesting and pretty. Now when you use this embossing folder, make sure you use our gray plate, and it used to be blue and they changed it to gray, but it's plate number 4. And always remember to put your folded into your machine first underneath your gray plate. So these are our 2 inside-outside pieces, the outside section. And then right here on this section, I used this design, and these are 4 by 2, and they go right here. So you just adhere those down, and I have done that right here. And then I'm going to flip it over. On the back, on the outside sections, these are the ones that are going to fold in. I've used this piece of DSP, and it's 4 by 2.5, and those 2 go right there. So that's our DSP that we've used on this. So see, when you fold it in, you've got this look. Alright, let's work on some inside pieces here. Let's start with the one over here. I used the handmade tag punch, and this punch is very deceiving because you look at it like that and you think about it like that, but then when you turn it, it's like, oh yeah, it looks like this instead, or that way. But anyway, I chose to adhere it down right here. In fact, why don't we just do that real quick. So this piece is for you to sign your name, let people know who the card's from. I felt like we needed that there. And then over on this side, let's talk about the daisies. I use the Cheerful Daisy dies, and you have these 2 pieces that look like this. I did a yellow base and a white on top, and these adhere together like that. And here's your daisy. And then I had the smaller one, which is the one for the front here, and it's these 2 pieces, and they look like this, and you just twist them around till you figure out how they fit together, and it looks like this. So these are the two daisies that I used on this card. Now to color my inside, I just took this crushed curry marker and colored around here. You could also use wild wheat and color this center. And then I took our basic black Stampin' Right marker and did my little dots. And I want you to see this new tip that we've got on our markers now. Isn't that cool? It really is a nice tip, and it made some really good dots in the middle of my daisies. So now we have this daisy that's going here, and this one that's going to go on the front. But we'll get back to that one in a minute. Let's talk about this section here. Now I cut that out of wild wheat, and you'll need a 4x4 sheet to do it with. And believe it or not, this is from the Christmas Classic dies. I thought, well, why not? Let's just use this die for an everyday die instead of Christmas. So I cut that one out of wild wheat, and it looks like this. And then the centerpiece, there's a die there for that, this one, and I cut it out of Daffodil Delight. So there's that piece. So this is the piece that's going to go right here in the middle. In fact, I'll show you how I put that down. I just put a little bit of glue right here in this center section and just lay this here and put that down. Okay. Now the center part is from Handmade Hugs. And this is the outline that I used. And then I used Today We Celebrate You. But I put them together, and it looks like this. I think it makes a really pretty border. But anyway, they're stamped together. And then I came in with this same punch again, put this in like this, and punched it out. And that gave me a border and this part. So we're just going to glue this border down here quickly. Alright, so I thought it was important to keep this piece because it really highlighted it. So this is my Daffodil Delight. And then this piece I just put right on top. In fact, I have one right here. Let's just put it down. And I used Memento Tuxedo Black to stamp this with. So this goes down right in the middle. Okay. Now over here on this side, I punched some leaves. And I punched them out of garden green with the bow punch. And for this flower, I'm using 2. So we'll put one going up like this and one going down to kind of frame out our flower like this. And then I just put some, and I like to kind of bend this up a little bit to keep it from looking so flat. So let's put a little glue right here in the middle of it and just stick it down right in the middle of that. Alright, so there's our inside. Isn't that pretty? Let me get some of these out of the way. Whoops. Grab the wrong thing. Okay. Now let's work on the outside. Now the first thing I punched was a garden green circle. And I used, this is a retired 2.5 inch punch, but you could use a circle die. But you need about a 2.5 inch circle for this. And that's my first layer here. And then I used our decorative circle punch to punch out the Daffodil Delight piece. And on this piece I stamped with garden green from Circle Sayings, the Celebrate, and the Happy Birthday. I think this is really pretty. I love the font and the way they did this. So all of these came from Circle Sayings, and I just adhered it to here with dimensionals. I've got one I've already done. Okay, now let's see how we put that on. You have to be really careful when you adhere this to your card because you only want to put your glue on this half. If you put it on this half, you're in big trouble because then your card's going to glue shut, and you don't want that. So I'm looking here, and I've decided I want to glue this side down. So let's just put this here. Close our card up. And I'm going to make it a little bit high because I want to put my daisy down here. Now the purpose of my daisy is to hold my card shut, so you've got to kind of position it so it will. Alright, I think that's there pretty good. Alright, so here's my daisy, and I added another of the garden green leaves behind it, and I put it on a couple of dimensionals. Now you need to keep your dimensionals down to the side over here, because if you've got them on this part you can't slip this underneath. So make sure your dimensionals are over to the right. So just pop that down right there and give it enough so that that slips under. And look at there. Isn't that a pretty card? And it was really quite easy. So you open it up and this pops out right in the person's face saying, "Today we celebrate you." And there's the top. I hope you like this card, and I hope you'll give it a shot. As you can see, it's really pretty easy. And I have a free download for you if you'll click on the link below my video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. My little head, picture of my head will pop up there. If you click on that, you can subscribe there. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. So until next time, happy crafting.